Hi, I'm Dar with the Healy Technology Report, and we're talking about the Yeastar S20 phone system. This is a great little product, great for a small and medium-sized business because of its cost and a lot of features, and more than anything else, it plugs into legacy phone lines. So if you don't want VoIP phone lines on your system, or you just can't do it because of the internet, whatnot, this one allows you to plug in cards for traditional Telus, Bell, Shaw phone lines, so you can plug it in here. You can find out more about this on our online store, www.buyphonesonline.ca, and at the end of the video, there's some coupon codes for it as well. We're going to do initial configuration of this today, so setting up the network and making sure it's all plugged in properly. So let's jump over and see how it's done.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make sure that our network is configured properly. So we're going to right click, go to open network and sharing settings on the computer. You need to do this or else you're not going to be able to connect to the S20. So we're going to choose properties and go down to our IP. Now I've set my IP address to be static 192.168.5.5. And you can do the same on yours. Now we don't need a default gateway and we don't need DNS servers for what we're doing right now. So we're just going to click OK. Later on we are going to switch this back to DHCP, but for connecting initially, that's what you need to do. And now, by default, the S20 goes on IP address 192.168.5.150, so you want to go there. You're going to get a certificate error, and just ignore that. And we're going to go admin, and the password by default is password, PASSWRD. Okay, so here we are. It changes the password. Now it's important to put in a strong password because you don't want your box to be hacked. This says important privacy information, and hackers can create fraudulent phone calls and things, so it's actually pretty serious. So this is the email address that emails are going to be sent out, and that's voicemail, email, and also admin alerts. This is what is this? Same thing. Oh, sorry. The previous one was for admin alerts to go out to. This is how it sends those alerts out. So phone system at helia.ca. We're going to use public addresses on the Shaw network. So these are not going to work if you are not on the Shaw network. And what's nice about public unauthenticated SMTP servers is you don't require username and password. Okay, so we have to log back in. All right, terrific. There we go. Now next, what we're going to do is we're going to need to configure some network settings here. So the first thing we're going to do is, if we were on site, we would leave this in single mode and just update the IP address to what the network was. But because we're deploying this out and we want the implementation on site to be way simpler, we're going to use the WAN interface. And so what that means is on the actual system here, we've got a WAN, in my case it's red, and LAN. This goes to the network switch where my phones are plugged into and also my laptop. That's great. So we're going to use both of them. And gateway is blank because we're using the WAN as the gateway. Subnet mask. Now I usually make the IP address 1. Preferred DNS, we're going to use Google. And 8.8.4.4. And that is everything there. So we'll say save. We don't want to reboot yet because there's other changes that we need to make. The next one is our time settings. So we're going to go to time, make sure the time zone is correct. Here we are in Calgary with daylight savings time. I'm going to use the Canadian NTP. NTP stands for Network Time Protocol. So it's going to get the time settings from the internet. I'm going to click Save. And you can see the time automatically updated there. Again, we're going to say no here. And now, next thing that we want to do is under Security, we're going to check on service, and we're going to go down here to enable DHCP. So because we have a LAN and a WAN that we're using, we want to make sure that the phones that are plugged in have DHCP IP address. That means they'll automatically configure. So we're going to go 8.8.4.4 range. I'm going to leave. I usually leave this up higher than 2 because I would put servers and other devices in the lower range. This is fine. NTP server is fine. And then we're going to click OK and just double check these other settings. The rest of these look okay. So we're going to say save. Now the next thing that we need to do is reboot this so all these things take effect. So we're going to click on maintenance here, and then we're going to go reboot and reboot. And I'm going to pause the video here because this does take a couple minutes, definitely more than 1 minute to finish rebooting. Okay, so it's finished rebooting. Next thing you need to do is change the IP address up here in the address bar because it won't automatically do that. So, of course, we've changed it to 192.168.5.1. We'll bring it back up, admin, and the password that you've updated to. Next thing we're going to do is we just want to make sure that the WAN connection is working. And the best way to do that is to go to maintenance. And then from maintenance, we're going to go to troubleshooting, and we're going to ping Google. So Google DNS servers again, 8.8.8.8, and we should see results here. So you can see we are getting result. Now, next thing I would do is upgrade your firmware. Make sure you have the latest version of the firmware. And that lessens the problems. I'd rather do it now than when after all the configuration is in, because that way there's less chance of issues. Okay, so that is good. We've got connection to the internet. We can also click on here, Resource Monitor. You'll see the IP address that has been given out here. So that's all terrific as well. Other information about the S20. You can find great deals. We've got packages for the S20 on our online store, www.buyphonesonline.ca. So check that out. Also, more videos on finishing the configuration of the S20. Check them out on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Healy Canada. I'm Dara Zook with the Healy Technology Report. Thanks for watching.